Good morning to all of you faithful and loyal patriots, all 80 of you that showed up here this morning. Welcome to the 361st consecutive Friday meeting of the East Valley Red Friday Patriots. Thank you for your presence here today in support of the mission of RED to remember everyone deployed. Folks, are you aware that today, May 1st, is National Loyalty Day here in America? On May 1st in 1958, National Loyalty Day was proclaimed by President Dwight D. Eisenhower as a day for declaring loyalty to the United States of America and to acknowledge American history, especially the history of pertaining to our armed forces. It's a day we affirm our loyalty to the Constitution. We renew our pledge to presence to protect our glorious inheritance of fairness, equity, and freedom against all threats, foreign and domestic. I believe this Red Friday group enthusiastically demonstrates our commitment to America, our armed forces, and our deployed warfighters quite effectively. And your presence here each week is a testament to our profound loyalty. But I also want to remind you that the entire month of May is designated as National Military Appreciation Month. The month of May offers Americans an opportunity to remember, to honor, and support those who strive to ensure our country freedom from oppression and hostility and aspirations to dominate our society or that of our trusted allies. In fact, the month of May is a very significant month of the year because of its title suggests. This observation is meant to raise awareness and encourage celebration and anticipation of those who serve or have served in the United States Armed Forces. There are 5 significant commemorative events that occur during May. In addition to National Loyalty Day, today, May 1st, is designated as Silver Star Service Banner Day, a day to remember the sacrifices of veterans wounded in combat and those that are seriously ill, injured, or disabled. They represent approximately 5 million U.S. veterans. In other words, about 30% of our current veteran population who live with service-connected disabilities. Over 2 million of those 5 million veterans are considered wounded warriors that were injured in combat. To all of America's beloved veterans who suffered combat wounds or disabilities, we thank you for your service and for your personal sacrifice. And to those veterans who are currently enduring service-connected illness, we pray for your speedy recovery. May 8th is designated as Military Spouse Appreciation Day, a day to recognize the service and sacrifices of military spouses. May 13th, Children of Fallen Patriots Day, to honor the children left behind by the brave men and women who gave their lives while defending our freedom. May 16th is Armed Forces Day, which is observed on the 3rd Saturday every May. This is a day dedicated to paying tribute to men and women currently serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. On Monday, May 25th is Memorial Day, a solemn occasion to honor the men and women who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. I believe we're all familiar with the phrase, "least we forget." The phrase is borrowed from a line in a well-known poem written in the 19th century by Rudyard Kipling. And the phrase, "lest we forget," means it should not be forgotten. We say or write, "lest we forget," in many military commemorations to remember always the service and sacrifice of people who have served in wars, armed conflicts, and peacekeeping operations, and those who support our beloved warriors and veterans. So you can expect to learn more about these important commemorations and observations as we progress through the month of May. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a few guests that we would like to honor here this morning. First up, Frank Buchanan. Frank's sitting way back there. And you're a friend of Brad? Where'd he go? He's hiding, isn't he?
I hate to admit it, but I am.
Well, we know you're in good hands. And Fred, you were in the Air Force?
Yes, I was.
Okay. From 65 to 69?
65, 69.
And what did you do in the Air Force?
I was an aircraft...
what you can say you can do in the Air Force.
I was an aircraft mechanic working on C-130s.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we're glad to have you here. Are you a permanent resident here in Mesa then now at Las Palmas?
I've been in the East Valley for 43 years.
Wow. Good for you. So that means you will see, or we will see you more often then, right?
I'm working on it.
Okay, great. Well, we're glad to have you, and thank you for coming today.
I thank you.
Judy Dunn. Now, Judy is sitting over here.
Okay. Okay.
And Judy, I understand you were one of the participants on the DAR honor flight?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, that's just absolutely wonderful. We're glad. And you're a friend of, or a friend of Karen and Ted's?
I'm sorry?
Are you a friend of Karen and Ted's?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ted, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you so much. And I understand you also served in the U.S. Air Force?
That's correct, yes.
And you served in 67 to 69?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And you were an officer or a first lieutenant probably in the nursing corps?
Lieutenant and then first lieutenant for the second year. I was a nurse in the hospital.
Wonderful. Well, we are so glad that you're here with us today, and we hope you'll come and visit us again. I hope you come and see us again.
Thank you. I plan to.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Ellen Walls? Elena. I am so sorry. Smack my mouth. Huh?
Hi. Okay.
And Elena, you're just visiting because
Right.
you're just a winter visitor, or are you just visiting?
I'm visiting with Jim and Bev. They're my niece and nephew.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Good
thank you.
job. And you're from Indiana?
Yes,
So when will you be going back?
Monday.
Monday.
And I do have a son that was in the Air Force. And
Oh,
he was on
wonderful.
He was
That's
on the
wonderful.
ones that, he worked on the planes that refuel. KC-130, thank you. Yeah. I don't-
Way to go, Don.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
And any time that you're in the valley, any time that you come back and you're visiting your niece and nephew, you're more than welcome to come back and
Thank
see
you.
us, okay?
Thank you so much.
And we'll be here.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Anita? Anita's here. Okay, everybody's right here.
Hello.
And you're all coming, and Jim brought all of you, right?
Yes.
So we got three gold stars for Jim today. He gets 3. And again, you're just visiting also then? or?
No, I just moved here March 1st.
Wonderful.
Permanently,
Wonderful.
retirement home.
So then we will see you every Friday morning then, right?
I'll be working.
Oh, well.
I know.
Well,
I
whenever,
would love to, but I'll be working.
whenever you can
Yeah.
work it in to get back here, we would love to have you. okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming this morning.
Thank you.
Jenny Clemshaw, is that how you say it? Jenny's over here. I'll wait till Don gets over there by you.
There we go. Here we go. Hi.
Okay, my hearing's not so good.
And Jenny, you're from Las Palmas Grand?
Correct.
Oh, okay, and it says that you heard about us, you read about us in an article?
Yes, in the newsletter.
Okay, and I understand that you met one of the gentlemen from here, somebody by the name of Sergeant Major Dick Nations or something? Something like that? And you
I
talked
saw his name on the paper and I called.
All right, good for you. And you also are a veteran from the Air Force?
Correct.
And if I'm reading this correctly, you were in the military police
Correct.
in the Air Force, and you served from 73 to 78.
Correct.
Jenny, it is wonderful to
Thank
have
you.
you here with us, and we hope that you come and see us all the time since you're a permanent resident here, okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much. And then we have Bill Angel. Bill, you want to stand up there?
Yes, sir.
Now, I know the sergeant majors are really going to like you because one of the places your residence is in Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you there now, or?
No, my imaginary friends are in Texas. I'm here. I'm on my way to Texas.
All right. That's fantastic. And you are a U.S. Marine.
Still.
That's right. Just like all the rest of the guys, and the one standing right next to you, holding the microphone.
There's a story to that, but I do still serve.
That's
No,
fantastic.
seriously.
And
I
you
do.
were from 71 to 83.
That is correct.
That's wonderful. Well, we hope you stop and visit us again, and you're welcome anytime.
So I plan, we do 3, 4, 5-month RV road trips every year.
Uh-huh.
And I planned a 3-month RV trip so that I could be here today.
Wonderful.
We head to Texas from here, and we'll be there for 3 months.
Wow. Well, we thank
And
you
it's
so
his-
much for
It's
coming.
his fault I'm here.
Oh, it's his fault.
Thank you,
Bill,
sir.
we thank you so much. We thank you for your service, and we thank you for coming this morning.
It's an
and-
honor to be here.
And know that you are welcome anytime.
Thank you,
that
sir.
you want to come
Thank
by.
you.
Okay? Thank you. Can I get a hoo-ah for all of our guests here this morning? Hoo-ah! Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And one little last thing before Sergeant Major comes up. Lee and Pat McKinney, I think you're sitting back there somewhere. Put your hands up. Or Leroy, I'm sorry. Leroy, I am sorry. We understand that you celebrated the 70th wedding anniversary last week. Congratulations, guys.
Pam, where are you? Pam, I brought in 2 today. You see that? I get a star. There you go. Well, as you know, on the first Friday of each month, we have a tradition of recognizing our Red Friday members who will celebrate birthdays during the course of the month. So I'd like to ask those of you here this morning who are either Taurus or Gemini with a birthday falling in the month of May, please stand. We've got a bunch of them here. Well, happy birthday, and we certainly hope that you have something more to celebrate over the course of this weekend. May I have a hoo-ah for these birthday celebrants? Hoo-ah! And we also want to send a healthy shout out to 2 of our distinguished members who brought in donut treats this morning for the birthday celebration. Terry Rapp and Don Stevens. Is Terry here? Terry is out on duty today. Don, where are you standing? Right back here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May I have a hoo-ah for Don and Terry? Terry's group came in early this morning. You know, she heads up the Legion's Honor Guard and Color Guard, and they headed out on a funeral assignment this morning. So thank you very much, Don, Terry. Appreciate it. You know, some of you may have heard this story on the local news, but if not, I thought I'd share it this morning. Earlier this week, I stopped at a nearby convenience store to grab a soda and some gas. And as I was pulling up to the pump, I noticed a couple of police officers that were in their squad car watching this tiny young chick who was smoking a blunt while pumping her gas. Now, if you don't know what a blunt is, it refers to marijuana that's rolled inside a cigar or a tobacco-based blunt wrap rather than using standard cigarette paper. And it often involves using a hollowed-out cheap cigar or what they call specialized blunt wraps to create a larger, slower-burning product that's typically much larger than a joint. Kind of like Cheech and Chong. Do you remember them? Now, I hope you do understand that I had to research what a blunt is. It's not like I have firsthand experience. Anyway, I saw her, and I thought this girl is either crazy, stupid, dumb, or a combination thereof. Therefore, especially with the police parked right there in front of the store, I mean, smoking a cigarette while pumping gas is dumb in itself. But smoking dope while pumping gas with the police nearby, now that's really dumb. But if you know me, I mind my own business, and I just moseyed on inside the store to get my soda. And as I was paying the clerk, I heard some screaming. Like, I'm talking a violent death scream. And the cashier and I both looked outside, and we saw this girl's arm on fire, absolutely blazing. She was swinging her arm around and running around acting doggone fool. And when I rushed outside, the police had the girl on the ground and they were putting the fire out. Then they put handcuffs on her and they threw her in the back of the squad car. Now, I'll tell you, the girl's safety was first and foremost on my mind, but curiosity was just absolutely killing me. So as the officers were preparing to leave, I asked one of them on what charge they had arrested this lady. And the police officer looked me straight in the eye, dead serious, and he said, waving a firearm.
Okay, this morning I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker, a gentleman who has previously delivered several quite informative presentations to our group to include the history of the Judge Advocate General Corps and the history of baseball in the military. Colonel Adam Torem, U.S. Air Force retired, has been an ardent supporter of our Red Friday program during the past several years. He served as a JAG officer in the Air Force throughout his armed forces career. And as many of you are aware, the JAG Corps is the uniformed legal arm within the military that provides legal services for each branch and operates as a specialized corps of attorneys and legal professionals supporting military operations, justice, and policy. Adam continues to utilize his legal skills and is currently working for the state of Washington as an industrial insurance appeals judge. And in that capacity, he presides over administrative hearings regarding workers' compensation, appeals, and industrial safety and health matters. In 2001, Colonel Torem earned a Master of Law in Environmental Law, cum laude honors from Northwestern School of Law, Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon. He retired from the Armed Forces on his 50th birthday in December of 2017, having attained the rank of 06 Colonel. Today, Colonel Torem will speak about the 1944 court-martial of Second Lieutenant Jackie Robinson. That's right, the Jackie Robinson you know to be the American icon and best baseball legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Colonel Adam Torem.
Well, good morning, everyone. I guess given Dick's comments, I can't really be blunt with you, but we're going to spend a little bit of time. All right, so good morning to all my fellow Red Friday patriots. As Jim said, today is going to be my chance to actually combine the themes of my last two presentations. First, military law, and second, baseball. These come together in the 1944 court-martial of Second Lieutenant Jack Roosevelt Robinson. Let's see if it's going to work today. There we go. Now, for those of you, how many are members of the MOA, the MOAA? Nobody in this room, the Military Officers Association? Oh, we got one. So Ted might remember back in February of 2023, they, in their magazine, put out an article for Black History Month, and it was entitled Fair Play and Justice, and it gave a little bit about the Jackie Robinson trial. It's a really good read. You can find it online if you're interested. Again, it's called Fair Play and Justice. But I'm going to provide some time today where we talk about the injustices that Jackie Robinson had to overcome in order for him to play fair in baseball, as we're going to talk about. We'll review, as you can see on the screen, his various uniforms from his time at UCLA to the Army and all the way into the uniform he wore on the baseball field for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Spent a little bit of time on sports, a little bit of time on his time in the military, and we'll talk about breaking the color barrier. So let's go to college. We'll start even earlier, frankly. Born on January 31st of 1919 in Cairo, Georgia. Again, his name is Jack Roosevelt Robinson, and he got his middle name because Teddy Roosevelt had died earlier that month. So to honor the president, Jackie got a middle name Roosevelt. He was the youngest of 5 kids, and the family very quickly moved out to Pasadena, California. In the mid-1930s, Jackie Robinson became a spectacular athlete. He played football, he played basketball, he ran track, he played baseball, and he also played tennis in his high school days, and he went on to college. At Pasadena Junior College, well, let me skip back. In high school, he played on a racially integrated football team in 1938. That was pretty interesting for its times in California. Later in junior college, he broke his older brother Mac's junior college broad jump record. The broad jump you can see at the top, I think, there. His older brother, Mac, whose record he broke, is the same Mac Robinson who came in second in the 200-meter dash, took the Silver Olympics in 1936 in Berlin. Do you remember who won the gold? Jesse Owens. Quite a family, the Robinsons, in the athletics. Jackie graduated Pasadena Junior College in spring of 1939, and that's when he went on to UCLA. He became the first athlete to letter in 4 different sports there: baseball, basketball, football, and track, all varsity letters. But he was best known for his play on the football team there. He was one of only 4 black players on the Bruins' 1939 football team, and that by itself made UCLA the most integrated college team in the nation in 1939. They went undefeated, 6 wins, 0 losses, 4 ties, and he carried the football in that one year 42 times. His average was 12.2 yards per attempt. I looked it up. That record still stands at UCLA. But funny enough, after all that, he thought his baseball was his worst sport. And get this, he played 1 season there. His batting average was .097. And you wouldn't guess that because his very first game, he was 4 for 4, and he stole home twice. But it was his worst sport at UCLA. Well, against his parents' advice, he left UCLA just shy of graduation in 1941 because of financial problems. He worked for several jobs. He played some semi-pro football to pay the bills, but everything came to an end with Pearl Harbor. Discrimination in our country was pretty rampant in the 40s, and our military was no different for much of that time. If you remember the Jim Crow era, that really came to an end with the Voting Rights Act of 1965. In the military, though, President Truman in 1948 was signing an executive order, number 9981, and that officially ended desegregation in the armed forces. But during World War II, things were already in motion. Jackie Robinson's time came in the midst of this desegregation, and he was drafted in April of 1942. He was assigned to a segregated cavalry unit at Fort Riley, Kansas. The Army had started to allow non-whites to apply to officer candidate school, and that started in 1941. And Jackie Robinson found out, hey, with the amount of schooling I had, I'm eligible, and he applied. But his, as was not uncommon, his application was getting slow-rolled. He wasn't hearing any progress. So it took another hero's intervention to let Jackie Robinson get his commission. Now, does anybody recognize this soldier? Yeah, who is it? It's Joe Louis. Joe Louis, he's known as the Brown Bomber, and he was the world heavyweight boxing champion from 1937 to 1949. Some of you will recall his fights with the German boxer Max Schnelling that brought him much fame. He had 71 different bouts. He lost only 3 in that career, but he wasn't just a boxer. He was proud and a very patriotic American. In doing some research for this, I learned that in 1940, ahead of Pearl Harbor, he actually registered for the draft. The following year, he pledged to donate the earnings from one of his boxing matches to the U.S. Navy Relief Society. And that wasn't necessarily met with a lot of happiness in his community because of the ongoing discrimination in the country and even in the military. But after Pearl Harbor, before he was asked to, he actually enlisted. He served as a goodwill ambassador for many years, fighting exhibition matches moving from base to base. And so Joe Louis was already speaking out for civil rights, and he crossed paths with Jackie Robinson in 1942 at Fort Riley. He knew that OCS was something Jackie wanted to do, and he heard that his application was being held up. Joe Louis made some phone calls, and he knew someone that was the assistant to the Secretary of War, and pretty quickly Jackie was in. So he's still who you know. So after being commissioned a second lieutenant and assigned as a morale officer, Jackie started hearing about problems with morale, and one of them was the post-exchange. They had a blacks-only area, they had a whites-only area, and wouldn't you guess which one was smaller? And the colored troops came and said, we don't have enough space to sit, and Jackie Robinson took up their cause, and he successfully persuaded the base provost marshal to expand the seating area. But the way he did it was pretty forceful, and that didn't sit too well with Fort Riley's leadership. And after a couple other tangling with saying yes or saying no to the things that Jackie thought was right at Fort Riley, well, guess what? He got transferred. He went to the 761st Tank Battalion at Fort Hood in Killeen, Texas, and that was about as far as into East Texas as they would send him. Now, some historians credit Joe Louis for giving Jackie Robinson the confidence to stand up for himself at Fort Riley, but also later at Fort Hood, where he went next. And at Fort Hood, he trained to deploy with his unit. The 761st later became known as the Black Panthers, and they earned their stripes during the Battle of the Bulge. But Jackie really couldn't go. He had a lingering football injury to his ankle, and that held him back. And while his unit was deploying off to Europe, he went off to physical therapy at the nearby McCloskey Army Hospital. So on the night of July 6th, 1944, it's exactly 1 month after D-Day and all the troops going into Normandy in France, Jackie Robinson gets on a bus, to return from Camp Hood's Black Officers Club to go back out to the hospital. Public transportation, still heavily segregated. If you think about Rosa Parks, and we all learned that in school, her refusal to move to the back of the bus in Montgomery, Alabama was still another 11 years away. But due in part to the efforts of folks like Joe Louis and even Sugar Ray Robinson, the military was on track to desegregate ahead of the rest of the country, and the War Department had already ordered any government-operated transportation for service members was desegregated. Jackie Robinson knew this. He got on the bus. He sat down next to another officer's wife that he knew. She was black, but she was light-skinned, and she was sitting toward the front of the bus, front middle of the bus. No one took any notice of her, but Jackie Robinson was darker-skinned, and his choice of seating did not go unnoticed. A couple of comments were made on the bus. The bus drove a little while, and then the driver pulled over and got up, and as you can see depicted in this painting, told Jackie to move to the back of the bus. And Jackie knew that Jim Crow laws didn't apply to Army vehicles, and when the bus stopped, he ignored the order. Bus stopped again, and 2 military police officers came on board. They asked Lieutenant Robinson to step off and come with them, and the story for today, that followed pretty quick. I don't expect you to read this. The National Archives, this is actually Jackie Robinson's statement made just hours after the incidents, made about 1 o'clock in the morning, Fort Riley. And I'll show you how he describes what happened. Maybe you can look at this. His statement is taken by a captain named Gerald Bear. And this is, as it's typed up by a civilian stenographer. They read him his rights, and they swore him to tell the truth. And here in the statement, I've pulled the words out so you can see the quote. He's ordered to move to the back of the bus, and he says, which I did not do. And this was taken as insubordination and disrespect. It was taken as other people were watching it, making comments, some of them racial epithets. And so there's a variety of folks on this bus. It's going from an officers club, it's going over to the hospital. It's not just military. There are some civilians on board. And trouble ensued here. Other passengers were making an issue about it. And he's saying things to stop effing with me, taken to be a little bit uppity by some of the white folks. The driver's dispatcher heard about this. There were other witnesses, and at one point there's another soldier who later testifies at the trial. His name's Private First Class Ben Mucklerath, and he's hearing all the commotion, and he comes over and sees that Jackie Robinson's in the back of the MP's car, and he speaks up and says, did they have that N-word, breaks that out, I won't this morning, did they have that N-word lieutenant in their car? And Jackie Robinson heard that. And he's quoted in other reports saying, if you call me the N-word again, I'll break you in two. Well, at this point, the MPs decided to take Lieutenant Robinson away. They go to the headquarters, and that's where this statement I've been showing you is taken. Tensions persist. Even the civilian court reporter, the stenographer, typing this all up, is upset and gives a statement that he's disrespectful. So on July 17th, about a couple weeks later, Second Lieutenant Robinson is charged officially with 6 violations of the Articles of War, 2 specifications of insubordination, and 1 each of disturbing the peace, conduct unbecoming an officer, insulting a civilian woman, and refusing to obey a lawful order of a superior officer. This wasn't the order on the bus, but this was an order during the write-up that he stand over here or do something else. His commanding officer actually refused to sign the charges. So what happened? A hasty transfer to a unit with a commander that would sign the charges. Justice. Well, eventually 4 of the 6 charges are eliminated, and it's really just the insubordination that goes to the court-martial. That happens on August 2nd, 1944. And the prosecution relied mainly on Captain Bear and his partner, Captain Wigington, who actually came out to the bus and took Jackie Robinson away. They also put on Private First Class Mucklerath. Big mistake. They mainly told the story that Jackie was the one making the trouble, And every time they tried to sort it out, he was interrupting, he wasn't cooperative, and that's why we had these insubordination and disrespect charges. Jackie Robinson's first appointed attorney said he was biased, he couldn't do it. Jackie was happy about that. They got an attorney named Lieutenant Robert Johnson. He was from Bay City, Michigan, and he decided his best approach was to poke holes in the other testimony. He believed what Jackie had in his statement. And Captain Bear had to back down. He had a lot of holes there. And when he put on Private First Class Mucklerath, he said, "No, I never said any of these racial epithets, but there were plenty of other witnesses that heard exactly what he said." Credibility was out the window. We don't have something I can tell you exactly what the closing argument said, but Jackie Robinson's autobiography remembers his lawyer's closing argument like this. He said, "This was not a case involving violation of the Articles of War or even of military tradition, with the second lieutenant not listening to a first lieutenant. The attorney said this was simply a situation in which a few individuals sought to vent their bigotry on a Negro that they considered uppity because he had the audacity to exercise rights that belonged to him not only as an American, but as a commissioned soldier." Took 4.5 hours of testimony to get that all across, and the 9-member court-martial panel was pretty quick, acquitted on the 2 remaining charges. Now, had Jackie Robinson been convicted, would he have gone on to become famous as a baseball pioneer? A lot of people doubt it, because the Brooklyn Dodgers' Branch Rickey was looking for the right man to put up and break that color barrier in the years ahead. And they didn't need a hothead, they needed somebody that could stay calm under all the kind of pressure that would have come there. Had he been convicted, that would have been something trotted out that he was in the military without honorable service. But in November of '44, Jackie decided to leave the military. He got an honorable discharge, and I had to look at this because if he got discharged in 1944, why is he in uniform signing this contract with the Montreal Royals, a farm club, a AAA affiliate of the Dodgers? Well, he was still allowed to wear his uniform. As you can see, Dick Nations is helping me with this today. He was honorably discharged. He was entitled to wear that, and as a way to send a message to the rest of African Americans in the country that, yes, you can be a participating member and wear your country's colors with pride, Jackie decided to be in uniform to do this. Now, April 15th, he became, in 1947, the first black player to step onto a Major League Baseball diamond. 50 years later, on April 15th, 1997, Major League Baseball honored this anniversary by retiring his number 42, across all of baseball. If you go to a baseball stadium and you see they have the retired numbers for their players, Jackie Robinson is on every one of those retired boards. And on April 15th, in 2004, in order to continue celebrating that legacy, they've actually declared it for Major League Baseball to be Jackie Robinson Day. Well, a couple years later, players wanted to start wearing his number as a way for them to personally honor his tradition. And I was interested to find out that asking for permission started with the Seattle Mariners player Ken Griffey Jr. in 2007. He asked Jackie's widow, Rachel Robinson, and he went to the then commissioner, Bud Selig. Other players heard about this, and in 2007, about 100 different players, including 4 entire teams, all wore 42 on April 15th of '07. The next year, it's over 300 players, and by 2009, that tradition was established. And since 2009, every season on April 15th, it's every coach and every umpire. They all wear 42 as a symbol of solidarity. I like to think it's not just because he was the first black major leaguer of the modern era, but because he was a lifelong fighter and standing up for civil rights and justice. Before it was the civil rights era, he was ahead of the game. His life and work transcends baseball, and as we slide into the finish of today's May Day Red Friday breakfast, I know a lot of our snowbirds are gone. A lot of you, the attendance is still hanging around 80. But I thank you for being here to hear about this. And when you walk out, last time I asked you to think about being prideful about the military heritage with baseball, but I also want you to think back of many of you that served in the Vietnam War, how much race was still an issue, but getting better, and it's getting better all the time. The military is still leading the way on that, and we should be continuing to lead society and standing up for everybody as Americans. So thank you for, again, listening to me prattle on about law and baseball. Have a great month of May. I'll see you back here in October and November.
Now, I get the pleasure of announcing someone else this morning. You know, over the past several years, our Red Friday program has been blessed to have numerous members of the Apache Trail Chapter, National Society, Daughters of American Revolution, join us in our quest to honor America's deplored warfighters and our veterans. The fabulous ladies of DAR have literally added a new dimension to our program. The support and promotion of Red Friday has been absolutely stellar. And so doing, they are also furthering the mission of DAR, that being to promote historic preservation, education, and patriotism, to actively engage in community service projects, foster a love of country, support active duty military personnel and veterans, and to honor the memory of American revolutionary patriots. And this local chapter of DAR excels in every aspect of their mission. Orchestrating the charge is the Apache Trail Chapter's regent, Kelly McDonald. Kelly is also an Arizona State DAR American 250 Committee co-chair, an Arizona State America 250 Commission member. And last week, Kelly traveled to Washington, D.C. to participate in DAR's planning of America's upcoming 250th celebration. And she requested the opportunity to share with our group a hint of what's coming, to which I am all ears. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our own Kelly McDonald.
Thank you so much for that. As he said, we came back, Karen Confederak and I, in fact, came back from Washington, D.C., where they are getting our nation's capital spiffy, getting ready for the big day in July when we sign the Declaration of Independence. And it's going to look fabulous. I know they'll have a lot of things televised this July for these events, but that's actually not what I came here to talk about. Surprise, surprise. So the National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, have been celebrating the semi-quincentennial since probably the bicentennial. But they're really gearing up. And this year, they have instituted a special award for commemorating and recognizing members of the community who have done an outstanding job of recognizing not only our patriots and our heritage of 250 years ago, but our current patriots and the people who continue that legacy. So Dick Nations, would you please come forward? Oh, good. I can tell this might actually be a surprise, or you would have been standing.
Surprise.
Would you please open this up? And I don't think you'll need your knife, but it's just rip it off. Yeah, So this award, as I mentioned, is only being given out this year to celebrate this. And it is a national award and medal. Oh, it's upside down. There we go. So on behalf of the National Society, Dick, now I'm going to cry. I don't know why I would. I just want to thank you for everything you do, continue to do in leading this group and keeping all patriots in mind. Thank you, Dick.
Wow. This is just absolutely phenomenal. And yes, this is a total surprise. Thank you.
Yeah, and
Appreciate it so much. Thanks to all of our
And when you
our
come
DAR
to
members.
when you come to our meeting tomorrow, you're going to be equally as surprised, right?
Totally. Totally.
Thank you, Dick. That's all
Thank
I
you.
have.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Thank
do
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Within the U.S. Armed Forces of 2.1 million active duty and reserve personnel, roughly 1,500 service members will die each year, with the vast majority of the deaths resulting from accidents, suicides, and illnesses rather than combat. Regardless of the cause of death, we hate to learn of the passing of any Americans, men or women in uniform, especially when their death is a result of an accident. On Tuesday, April 20th, the U.S. Army identified a soldier who was killed when a semi-truck collided with an armored Stryker vehicle on an Autobahn in Germany in the state of Bavaria. First Lieutenant Haley Hotzenden, a platoon leader with the 2nd Cavalry Regiment, 4th Squadron, was killed in the crash. The accident happened near the Army's largest permanent training area in Europe. Lieutenant Hotzenden, a 24-year-old Texas native, was traveling in the Stryker when it merged onto a northbound Autobahn just prior to noon when the semi-truck traveling in the right lane collided with the vehicle. Lieutenant Hotzenden was looking out of an open hatch when the collision occurred. The hatch struck and injured her, she was later pronounced dead at a local hospital. Such a tragedy, considering that this young officer, I'm sure, would have had a stellar career ahead of her. A few announcements this morning. Please don't forget about the upcoming Drop Zone event sponsored by Congressman Andy Biggs, Arizona 5th District office. The event is scheduled for Saturday, May 9th from 10 to 2 p.m. This will be a one-stop resource fair for veterans, services, and senior benefits. The event will be held at the American Leadership Academy Applied Technologies campus located at 7729 East Pecos Road in Mesa. As you can see in the graphic, there will be a host of veteran and senior services available for you to explore. We will have a Red Friday booth set up again this year, so mark your calendars for Saturday, February 9th, and come and check it out. May 9th. As you, please be advised that we have scheduled guest speakers to join us for the month of May. I think you will find their presentations to be very informative. So please plan to be in attendance and support our speakers and demonstrate our appreciation for their support of our program. On Friday, May 22nd, it's only now 3 weeks away, this Red Friday group will celebrate its 7th year anniversary and 364th consecutive Friday morning assembly honoring Americans deployed warfighters. We plan to have a special commemoration for that event, and I encourage each of you to join us. We are now distributing event tickets for those who are definitely planning to attend on the 22nd, and for your guests. The tickets will allow us to predetermine the number of folks that will attend and also coordinate with the number with the kitchen staff so they can plan for meals accordingly. If you take a ticket, please make sure you will attend. So mark your calendars for May 22nd, get your tickets from one of our greeters on your way out, and join us for this very, very, very special event. Also this year, Memorial Day will fall on Monday, May 25th. So the following Friday, May 29th, we will have a post-Memorial Day program. Hope you plan to attend that very special event. We have a great guest speaker for that commemoration. On behalf of Joanne Baldwin and the American Legion Post 27 Auxiliary, thank you for supporting the packages for the Home Fund Drive. You have made some very generous donations to that incentive, and your support is very much appreciated. To our guests, we thank you for joining us today. We sincerely hope you'll return to share in our camaraderie and support our mission. Please know that you are always, always welcome at our Red Friday assemblies. And as a final reminder, let us not overlook the importance of our Red Friday mission to keep our deployed war fighters in our thoughts, our prayers, and continue to demonstrate our support for those fine men and women. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.